Think back to your last annual physical. Your doctor went down a standard checklist, paused, and asked you one generic question about your fitness. Do you exercise? You smiled, said yes, and mentioned you walk the dog or hit the gym a few times a week. They checked a little digital box on their screen, and the conversation immediately moved on. Box checked, flawless grade. But here is the uncomfortable truth. That checked box tells you absolutely nothing about how you are actually aging. I exercise is a phrase that covers everything from a casual stroll down the driveway to training for an Ironman triathlon. It doesn't tell you if you'll have the structural integrity to lift your own carry-on luggage at age 75. It doesn't tell you if you will have the cardiorespiratory reserve to bounce back from a sudden bout of pneumonia at 80, or the simple lower body power required to get up off the living room floor without using your hands. If you want to look past the arbitrary number on your birth certificate and see your true trajectory of physical decline or resilience, you need to stop relying on checkboxes. You need to know two exact numbers. These two metrics act as the ultimate biological smoke detectors for your body's vital systems, your grip strength and your VO2 max. Today, we are stripping away the internet exaggerations, looking at what the clinical data actually means for those of us over the age of 50, and exploring how modern longevity medicine is completely reinventing how we track these numbers for the future. Let's start with your hands. If you spend any time reading health blogs or watching longevity content online, you've probably run across a frightening statistic. The claim that your peak grip strength occurs in your 30s and drops by 1 to 3% every single year after that. If you do the math on that claim, it implies that by the time you reach age 50, you've automatically lost up to 30% of your total hand power. Fortunately, the actual epidemiology is far more reassuring. Large-scale muscle aging studies show that your grip strength actually remains remarkably stable all through your 30s and throughout your entire 40s. The true physiological pivot happens right around age 50. This is when a steady, predictable decline of roughly 1% per year begins. And it isn't until we cross into our late 60s or mid-70s that the decline accelerates to 2 or 3% per year. Understanding this timeline matters because it allows us to map our training accurately. Grip strength matters because it is a proxy variable. It is a biological mirror that reflects your systemic muscle mass, your functional physical capacity, and your underlying neuromuscular health. In 2015, a massive global study known as the PURE study followed over 140,000 adults. They discovered every 5-kilogram decrease in grip strength was associated with a 16% to 20% higher risk of all-cause mortality. Remarkably, in many subpopulations, a decline in grip strength was a statistically stronger predictor of cardiovascular death than systolic blood pressure, but we need to apply some vital clinical nuance here. Furthermore, your hands cannot tell the entire story. Clinical guidelines emphasize that grip strength is a poor proxy for lower body power, such as your quadriceps strength. When it comes to tripping on a curb or avoiding a hip fracture, your lower limbs are infinitely more critical. That is why you should never evaluate your grip strength in an isolated vacuum. And the future of how we measure this metric is shifting underneath our feet. We are transitioning rapidly away from rigid population-wide thresholds toward personal lifetime peaks. In the coming years, machine learning algorithms will passively analyze data from smart, everyday objects you already touch, your phone, your steering wheel, to map your grip force variations over time. A sudden, unexpected drop in your personal baseline will serve as an early neurological warning system, flagging systemic inflammation or muscle, wasting decades before you ever feel a symptom. While your grip strength tells us about your structural framework, our second number measures the size of your internal cardiorespiratory engine. This is your VO2 max. VO2 max is the absolute maximum volume of oxygen your body can transport and utilize during intense physical exertion. Oxygen delivery is the ultimate bottleneck for physical freedom. Every task you perform, from carrying heavy bags of mulch to recovering from an unexpected surgery, is limited by this identical physiological ceiling. A landmark 2018 study in JAMA Network Open showed that when comparing the bottom 20% of fitness to the top 20%, the relative risk of death increases by 2 to 3 times. A 200% to 300% increase in mortality risk is astronomical. It completely dwarfs the relative risk associated with smoking, coronary artery disease, or type 2 diabetes. The most profound takeaway for those of us over 50 is that this benefit is dose-dependent. Simply graduating your score from poor into average cuts your all-cause mortality risk roughly in half. But how are you tracking this? Wearables like Apple Watch or Garmin have become surprisingly accurate for steady-state runners, but they have critical limitations you must be aware of. If you take a beta blocker for blood pressure, the drug artificially caps your heart rate. This breaks the wearable's algorithm, rendering your watch's estimate wildly incorrect. If you take a beta blocker for blood pressure, the drug artificially caps your heart rate. This breaks the wearable's algorithm, rendering your watch's estimate wildly incorrect. Second, a smartwatch cannot measure your individual ventilatory thresholds, the points where your body shifts from aerobic to anaerobic metabolism. Without those, you are purely guessing at your training intensities. Also, relative VO2 max is expressed per kilogram of body weight. If you go on a crash diet and lose 15 pounds, your score goes up on paper even if your heart health hasn't improved. The goal for true longevity must be deliberate improvement of body composition, shedding body fat while fiercely protecting and building your underlying skeletal muscle. A baseline number without a plan is just a data point. The real magic lies in how we optimize these metrics as we cross into our 50s and beyond, using automated hyper-personalized training. Historically, accurate VO2 max testing required visiting a lab and wearing an uncomfortable silicone gas mask. It is an unpleasant experience that most adults understandably want to avoid. But emerging medical tech is replacing the mask with wearable NIRS sensors, adhesive optical patches that measure real-time muscle oxygen saturation right through your skin. By tracking how rapidly your muscles deplete oxygen, these patches will soon calculate your exact thresholds and true VO2 max dynamically during your ordinary workouts, no laboratory mask required. Advanced genomic science is also dismantling the myth that anyone can build an elite engine. Roughly 20% of the population are genetic low responders to traditional high-intensity interval training. Aging with exceptional vitality and maintaining your physical independence for the rest of your life is not an accident of genetics, and it is certainly not a matter of luck. It requires moving past vague checkboxes like staying active and taking deliberate control of the exact physiological metrics that dictate your physical timeline. Your workouts will eventually be managed by adaptive AI ecosystems. Synthesizing real-time data, your training program will modify your workouts mid-session to ensure the exact biological stimulus required. Aging with exceptional vitality and maintaining your physical independence for the rest of your life is not an accident of genetics, and it is certainly not a matter of luck. It requires moving past vague checkboxes like staying active and taking deliberate control of the exact physiological metrics that dictate your physical timeline. Find out exactly where your baseline grip strength stands. Pair it with a lower body functional assessment. Measure or closely track your true cardiorespiratory capacity and begin building your physical reserve today. If you want to master the real, unvarnished science of longevity and get actionable, data-driven strategies designed specifically for the years ahead, make sure to hit that follow button right now, subscribe to Longevity Living 50+, and share this video with someone you care about. Let's work together to build a future where our health span perfectly matches our lifespan. Thank you so much for watching. Keep building your engine, and I will see you in episode 5. Stay active, age well.